Okay, d4. The way that I'm doing this series also, should point out, is I'm not trying to like play in some crazy strategy where I play like gambits and sack pieces right off the bat. No. Just trying to play normal. And then you can turn a position into an attacking one later. H4. Do you feel like he's turning it into an attacking position already? What the heck is H4? Got me nervous here. H5. How are you going to attack me now? F3. I respect that. I respect it. I think I'll choose this as opposed to C6 because might like to get castled that way. Okay, it goes G4. It's a bit too aggressive too early because I can just pick this material up. I know he's probably not going to castle this way now. But I always say the way to play good attacking chess doesn't necessarily mean sacking pieces, going crazy. It honestly means getting developed, getting all your pieces out, having the initiative. Those things are valuable. So we could go for E5 here. Taking and then E5 is also a pretty good idea. It kind of walks right into E4, but taking the center just pays off immediately. Yeah, pretty good idea by my opponent here. We are going to be okay after queen takes. Yeah, we'll make sure not to lose our rook here. We have another piece hanging, so instead of taking it, I'll take the queen. You're nice enough to offer it. Oh, the pieces are raining down. But yeah, this series, don't get the wrong idea that we're just here to sack pieces, go crazy, play like all-out attacks with sending the pawns against the castle king. I'm ready to do that, but I'm trying to show you how to attack properly where, you know, the best attacking players don't start the game with the intention of like sacking a piece and going wild. And a lot of games as we're starting out, maybe we just end up winning them because people blunder. It happens. E4, E5. I've been going with knight f3. I mean, he's going bishop there. You are gonna eventually get me curious. Okay, it's like I'll fall for it. Knight takes E5. What's the deal? You want to play D6? I'll go back. What did I miss? You know? What did I miss? C6. Let me first gain the entire center. Just going for the most basic setup here. He's going C5. I'm getting the feeling that he wants that bishop open. I mean, doesn't take a genius to figure that one out. Let's put our bishop on a great diagonal. Takes. I'll take back. Probably want to play bishop e3, queen d2. And remember, if he's castling this way, I want to be ready to go on the other side. Even though this is the attacking series, I've been talking about what I think are the important points. Development, initiative. Those are the key ones. Right, my opponent doesn't appear to have those. Period. I'm going to go back to defend b2. This is protected. I got knight d5 coming in to hit the queen. But my opponent doesn't have too many pieces developed right now. Got 2 plus a queen. And there could be a lot of pressure coming his way. Okay. Taking again will also bring my queen out, and see if he wants to do that. Uh-oh. He goes with the knight. You can imagine what sort of bad things are about to happen here. Let's take with check. We could take with the bishop and then with the knight. Also would have been an overwhelming position. But I'm just going to choose this, and queen takes on d6 afterwards. Seems nice and easy, and we also maybe get to castle long in stride. But bishop takes and knight takes would be fantastic as well. Like, you couldn't make a mistake in that. You could not make a mistake. We're not threatening a mate, but you might think that we are. That would be the best. If he thinks we're threatening mate, that's exactly where we want him. We need the panic to set in. This pawn is loose, but you can imagine that's the last thing I'm worried about here. Probably react to that by just castling. Hey, he took it. All right, so we'll get to see. Definitely going to castle here. I don't have an immediate threat, but I'm building up to a threat. Rook g1 and mate down here will happen potentially. Also have this bishop, which could be put to use, and his knight has to watch 2 checkmates, so he's in a very delicate position. Rook d5 to e5 looks like it'll lead to checkmate as well. Hey, he's just taking pawns. Come on, man. He's just taking pawns from me. Well, let's start with a very basic checkmate threat. Not gonna overdo it. Just simple, just sliding over. I'm also involving a piece that in my position was not doing anything. Now we're on move 18. Every single one of my pieces is out, mobilized, making threats, contributing. He's got a lot of pieces that are not doing anything. He's got a queen offside. His king is still stuck in the middle. And all those differences between our two positions basically add up to the advantage that I've got right now, which looks like it might be a forced checkmate type of advantage. Good luck to him defending this one. Because even rook takes bishop, I don't even have to take it back. I still have this checkmate ready to go. Played it. It really is a decent attempt. You know, I can't take it back. Or, sorry, I can take it back, but I can't take it back and then still guarantee my checkmate on g8. But I'm not going to pass up the opportunity. Good game. We got a nice attack there with e4. I always like to point out the reason I win these games is not because I'm doing some crazy attacks. I took a free pawn when offered. I focused on development. And he made this mistake. If not, I was about to play queen d2, maybe castle this way. But I've got so many pieces out. You look at a position like this. I've got 4 pieces developed. And his next move was with his queen. So that's the problem here. Right? Look at move 18. I've got every single piece working. Can't say the same for him. So the difference in the quality of the position. Right, jumping into the next game here. We can try a few different openings. I've been playing a bunch. We'll play another e4, e5 game here. e4, e5 doesn't mean like, you know, boring. When I see c3, I know there's no knight coming there, so immediately d5. That's what I like. See how there's no knight c3? That's important. e4, kick the knight. Whenever the knight can't go into the center, if it has to go back to g1, That's already a serious achievement for me. So yeah, let's take that. Even though taking is going to be a fine move, probably just going to play this. Yeah, we could take that, of course, but if he plays knight here, then maybe I'll take it. I'm also really considering a move like this because it comes charged with a little bit more offense, which I like. So I like queen g5 there. But yeah, can't really go wrong with taking, so keep it simple. Again, not trying to go like too crazy on the attack. You know, if he wants to play knight b5, like by all means. Here I'm just gonna go bishop out. Knight b5 again can be just reacted to. Queen a4 is no longer a move, and I'd like to long castle. So queen b3, I'll probably long castle. d3, yeah, I'd like to avoid a queen trade where possible, but maybe it's not possible. Maybe it's not possible here. So I'll definitely trade. See how he wants to take, or if he wants to take bishop e3. Cool move. I'm happy to see it because we all know I don't want to trade queens, so I would have been more annoyed by that. Good energy from him. Bishop e3. I'll move my queen out of the way. My next move is probably going to be bishop here to line up something on h2. Yes, it can be reacted to pretty comfortably, but I still like the move with tempo. My king is almost castled, not quite. Something that could happen is g3, queen h3, like rook d1 or knight b5, bishop c6, f3, knight g4. I could see some attacking prospects developing for us here. Okay, so queen d4, and in this position I don't really have the exact thing I just mentioned because the queen could actually take it. After d takes e2, my queen was just hanging. So yeah, queen here. Maybe if I castle, you see the real intention with queen takes a7. So that's kind of nice. I think what we're going to do is bring the bishop here. We get to create a threat. f3 looks like basically the only reaction. Bishop takes g3 after that. And we'll go from there. Because even castling actually makes a lot of sense as well. So he does play f3. It's a very good move because it's the only one. h5, h4 here is exactly how you'd want to continue an attack. I can also castle, but allowing this is not great for us. So rook d8 comes to mind. Knight g4 was the move I wanted from earlier, but guys, there's queen takes g4. So I mentioned that line of move before when the queen was on d3, but it doesn't quite work here. Knight g4. Bishop takes, king h1, and then knight g4 comes to mind because there's no queen takes g4. Being perfectly honest with you, I think there's bishop f4 in that position, and amazingly, I don't think we have anything. So I'm not actually sure that bishop takes works there. So what I might do is continue slowly. Not my favorite, but yeah, I think bishop g3 just doesn't quite work because bishop g3, he's not going to see all this. I'm sure this would work, but bishop f4 there, and we actually might be worse. So I want to be careful that we're not like, yeah, throwing the game away or anything like that. So I'll start with this move just to bother the queen. See how he wants to deal with that. It sucks that I can't castle, but you know what? It's queen was on my pawn there, so it just wasn't an option. Can't be playing hope chess. That's right, guys. Can't be playing hope chess. Okay, so goes queen c4. Now, believe me, I'm thinking about bishop g3 again. Can we make it work now? It definitely works a little bit better. Does it work? I don't think so. Still don't think it does. So let's go with another nice attacking move. Just a move that you know is right there, built in with how you're supposed to attack. And there's a great response in rook f2. Fantastic response. All right, our h-pawn is pretty much all we've got here, so I think we're probably gonna keep chucking it up the board. We could also do this one, but not really getting anything past that. I think our best attempt is going to be like this, and then maybe knight g4, just like a full send, because remember, if knight g4 would also open the possibility for us to get mated. So here I am leaving my king in the middle of the board on an open file. Man, we're risking it. So like if a rook shows up here, we could be in trouble. But I like h5 and knight g4. It has like, you know, feels good. We're also hitting this bishop, and taking threatens mate, but also allows mate. But this does not mean that we're in an overwhelming position here. We're hitting the bishop though, and the rook, which is nice touch. We're also hitting this pawn here. But he's got to really think what the actual threats are and go from there. Sometimes the position just looks so complicated, like there. This is a great move. Sometimes the position looks so complicated that you lose sight of what the actual like threat is. I'm gonna go like this. I'm gonna keep going for it. But when knight here happens, people might be worried about checkmate, even though it's not a threat, and then take it and open up an actual mate. So I feel like a lot of the time the pressure comes from the fact that you can't properly identify which moves are actually being threatened. So I really hope that he plays what I would consider to be the best move here. He does. All right, well, are we gonna go for this? I think we're gonna go for this. This looks like the best case scenario for us. And maybe rook here next. I mean, I'm literally throwing the kitchen sink at this guy. And he's not biting. Like, you gotta hand out the credit, man. I like rook here as a next idea. Feels like he's not budging with that F pawn. I'm hitting him with everything. Oh, the time warning. All right, I'll go here. Gotta give it to him. Oh, HH. Not at the final hurdle. Literally one, I swear to you, one more accurate move. Just one. Not only did you have a great move, but even just an average move, and you only had to survive one more second, man. I feel like I put him through the ringer there of attacking ideas. Like, this was a clinic in terms of showcasing different attacking ideas, but it was also a clinic in defense. The thing is, he never played what I would say were the absolute best defensive moves, but he still never bit on any of my baits. That was impressive. This is a very scary position here. You want to know what the best move in this position is? It's queen c5. Like, to be faced with a queen. Like, look at that. Turn this game around. Look at white's position here. My rook's barreling down. You don't have any checks with your queen. Very frustrating to deal with. You can't take the knight because of mate. This is hanging. Your bishop's hanging. Your rook's hanging. You could think there's mates happening like at any moment. Queen g3, and the guy plays queen c5. Great move. h4. This is hanging. This can be taken. You got stuff hanging. Queen's on a new square. Bishop f1, the best move again. Like, to be honest with you, the only thing he did wrong was the very last move of the game. Rook e2, bishop takes f3. He only made a mistake here. Rook e1, he loses the game in one move, it's checkmate. But apart from that, I mean, the guy was defending like an absolute champ. Parallax. Alright, I've been playing the Scotch because it feels like a nice way to open the position up, etc., etc. Okay. Bishop here. Guess this. Is this what the people do? Like knight c3 and, you know, go aggro here. Bishop g4. I'm interested to know what happens. I definitely can't resist this move, but I wouldn't say it's fully advisable. So that'll be my disclaimer. Okay, now knight takes d4. There's only one move we should be considering here. Not a good move. The only move that we should consider. It's not good. It's great. I just couldn't resist. I couldn't resist. All right, going for e4 again. We see e6, so I'm gonna take the center. And we haven't seen this too often, but for now, feels like e5 and both knight c3, knight d2 all give the best attacking prospects. My problem with this is it kind of closes things up. So I do want to have a little bit more energy than that. So I'm going to go knight c3. Knight d2 is also a great move, but I'll start with this. And after knight there, I'm even going to continue with this just to make the point that like I kind of want things to open up. But we'll see what he does. It does depend on him at this point. Okay, knight there. I mean, I'll defend at this point. Huh? Knight c6, knight b8. I mean, it's safe to say the lad's got me out of theory. I do not know what's going on. I'm going to go queen here. I'm not castling any which way just yet. Okay, he's back, folks. He's back. Okay. He's back for more action. Is he going to return to b8 next? You know what? I'm going to play... do we go here? Do we go here? I'm trying to, like, make sure we let him back in the game here. No, that's too nice. We gotta use our advantage here. I'm just gonna go here. Make a pin, right? Bishop e7, good move by him. Clearly he's about to castle there. Let's go for this. Yeah, I did lose time because of that. That's true. Could be his tactic. It worked. Hey, I like that move from him. I like that move from him. All right. I'm going to take this. Walking into our first impressive tactic. I'm just going to hand it to him. We could take here and be down a pawn, but, you know, knight b8, knight c6, I say he deserves the piece at this point. Taking here, we would end up down a pawn. Let's give him the piece. Dude, if you play knight b8 and knight c6, I think you deserve it. This guy's impressive. This guy's impressive. Am I going to take? No, I'll move my king. So what am I planning from an attacking perspective? Well, I'm hoping that he castles. Why? Because then I'll probably play h4, bishop h7, knight g5. Great theme there. So I'm not sure I want to play h4 because I think I'll scare him into castling the other way. So I'm going to play kind of a safe looking move here. Definitely want to see this. Then I want to launch h4. So hoping that happens. We'll see. Yeah, so he does do that. I'll immediately play h4. I know it looks kind of obvious now what I might be intending, but I think that's okay. It's a great theme if you haven't seen it before, of like takes, knight g5 check, and queen h5. So again, it's not something that might completely work here, but this is the perfect opportunity, I think, to show something like this off. I could start with knight there, but let's just go straight for the bishop. I think there are better moves, but let's go like this. Get the theme in there. Queen h5. Can he defend it? It's not even that good. He takes. We're going to take back. We do have a threat here, but only one. Nice move by him. He's running for the hills. So at this point, he's got me thinking about moves like d5 in order to try to cover that square when he inevitably escapes. But I think for now, let's start by check and queen takes. So yeah, he's still doing a really good job. He's got the one piece that he earned and then the other piece that I gave him in order to have this position. But nobody likes defending, so let's see if he can hang on. You know, I'll be the first to admit that we're off our rocker here a little bit. All right, d5 here is going to be a really nice inclusion. For example, if I play here, he plays there, he gets mated. If I play here and d5, it's too obvious, right? He's going to take and see mate there. He's not going to walk into it. Plus, if I do that, he can take my queen. So I'd like to play this first so that if he takes, then queen f6 is unstoppable mate. Oh. No matter if he plays king f8 or king d7. So I think d5 first is just the nicer order of moves than queen f6. And hey, it has a threat. I'm not going to complain about that. He takes, queen f6 check. You can take your pick. There's checkmate regardless. And it's funny that all those pieces that you were actually ahead, those are the reasons why you're getting mated in the final position. GG. Rook takes d5. And that'll be a nice win there. All right, e4. I don't have a specific opening that I'm always playing or anything like that. I'm convinced that we can sort of make an attacking position out of any kind of game. So It's not like we have to play in a certain way. Okay, I'll play g6 here. It's gonna take. And he does take here. All right, well, there's not gonna be much to do here. So what I'll probably do is look to do that and castle. It can also go here, but queen d4 makes more sense. Suppose this is the downside to g6, is if they want, they can do this. It's really not good for white, so not something I'm going to be complaining about. Ooh. Okay, he's already doing this. I'm going to take this pawn in the center. After queen e2, I don't think I'm going to go here, because that would open me up to knight g6. So I'm definitely going to trade. Like, how the hell are we going to attack now? But you can definitely play a lot of positions pretty aggressively, even without just go here. Even without the queens on the board. I want to castle opposite of him. I know he's not castled, but I think we all know he's going to try to run that king to safety on g1. So I want to make sure I'm set up on the opposite side here. I can go knight f6, but I'm thinking a little bit more like knight e7, knight f5, and maybe into d4. Bishop a7 is one of those moves that, I'll be honest with you, I just haven't calculated. Like, there's knight c6 here, but man, there's just no way. There's no way! I'm gonna, like, go trap the bishop. I mean, what else? I can't take bishop takes a7 seriously. Impossible. This king's in the middle, so it's gonna be kind of uncomfortable. We have this one. We also need to kick the knight away. I don't think I should try to be too fancy about things here. Let's start with this. I mean, attack that. Remember, if I take, there's knight takes here. So I think we can throw in knight d4 check, guard this pawn, and then take. But bishop takes a7 is very bold by him. Also knight e3, there might be knight takes there. So yeah, here takes, king takes, probably good enough there. I can also decide to throw in a move like f6 if I want, but it does feel like taking should probably be enough. Let's see. Taking knight e2. I want to make sure we're not in an awkward spot, because even if he takes, he's not actually freeing the bishop. So I think I might take a safer approach in this position. This gains time. I like gaining time. Like getting my piece out, and you know, might have to react with a move like this. So he takes. I'm definitely going to throw in bishop takes before I take back. And remember, after I take back, the bishop's still trapped. So I am going to win it at some point, but obviously this is a great move to throw in first. It's not even clear that I'm going to take this knight here, because the pawn will take back here after bishop takes, and then this bishop escapes. So I think after king d1 though, takes and rook a8 should be pretty nice, because these rooks don't even defend each other anymore. So I'm feeling pretty good about that. Probably gonna go for it. Pawn takes here is a very, very good move, but yeah, I think just the pin here that's enough to get me interested in that again. Ooh, I like the energy behind knight a4. That's a good one. I'm probably going to start with a check. Okay, it gets the bishop off the square, and I also want to see where he's going to put the king. Most likely check again. King here, we have some more checks to consider. I do like this one because it hits the bishop. And we'll wait and see if we can get any kind of checkmates going here. I don't know. Like this. I feel like we could easily overreach and think we have it made and not have it. That would be classic. Big fan of this one because it covers c5. So at this point, not even knight c5 scares me anymore. I think this is just a nice safe option. Takes. Let's give him another check, but I'm probably planning to take here. Bishop takes knight there, so maybe take with the king instead. Now I'm up 2 pieces. Got 3 minor pieces, only got 1. Knight c3 can be played. Yeah, d4, we can definitely go like that. I'm going to throw in a check, I guess. Throw in another check. Throw in another check. Throw in another check. I don't know. Throw in another check. At what point do I stop? Or do I stop? It's fun to just keep checking it. Let's go with this check. I feel like I have to check until it's made. If it's not made, it's not for me. Is it possible? Probably not, actually. I'm not sure I see the mate here. Now, unfortunately, we don't have a very pretty mate, but we have some good moves to play. Bishop e2 will be kind of unpleasant. I'm going to take here because I might actually take that one. Hey, come back here. Hey. Where the hell's buddy going? He tried to make a run for it. Okay, I've been going e4. I feel like that's the way to go here. G6. Okay. G7. I wonder if he's going to play more like with D6. Because when I see this, I'm really tempted to just kind of throw the pieces at the king here. I might even go bishop e3 and just f3. I feel like this is a really effective way to play against lower rated players, is just basically play bishop h6, h4, h5, and long castle, of course. I feel like this, for the most part, is enough of a plan to just like win. That should be enough. Okay, he goes knight here. He's threatening basically nothing, but you could argue maybe he's making room for c5. Yeah, I really don't know what could be intending here. It seems like nothing. I can always kick the knight out. For now, I think I'm probably going to ignore it and just go for this plan. As I mentioned, bishop h6. I do this one to block the h-pawn. Sometimes if you play h4, not that it would be a mistake, but they might respond with h5. So it's nice to prevent h5 here. h4, h5 is going to come next. If he plays knight takes, then you can usually sack the rook, play queen g5, and win the game immediately. If he doesn't take it, then you want to take on g6, and then take on g7, and then bring your queen here supported by a rook. So that's the main plan. Okay, here we go. There's a threat. Now I'm finally going to react. I'm either going to play d5 or a3 here, because once he deals with his piece, I'm then going to continue my plan. So I wouldn't choose a move like king b1, even though it's great, just because I'd rather get things going. So I'm going to choose to play a3. Maybe he'll play knight a2, but it would certainly be a funny looking move. I expect this because knight c6 walks into that. Yeah, he goes knight a6. Now I'm just going to leave it, forget about it. And I wouldn't play takes first, because then after h4, once again, black can play h6 or h5. We don't really get the push. So I like to do h4 with my bishop here. That's the whole point. And he's not really like threatening to move it. So yeah, again, h5, I don't see any danger immediately. So I'm continuing my plan. I'm expecting that bishop here, pawn h5 should be kind of more than enough to win. And then what did I say? Once we were here, if the knight takes, we would sack and mate with queen g5. Because that didn't happen. Instead, we have the secondary kind of idea for mate, which is we want to take and then take on g7 and then get queen h6. And then from that point, all we need to do is remove this knight from guarding h7, and then we have mate. That's basically it. So I'm going to go straight for this, just to execute our exact plan, the exact way that it should be. These pieces coordinate now pretty nicely, and you can probably guess that my next move is going to be e5, and you know, takes opens the rook on the queen. I've got these two ready to take h7, and yeah, pretty easy win as a result. Can't move the knight or you lose the game. You can play knight h5. I'll play g4 in that case. Of course, I'm talking about before he did this. Now he's in a big big pickle. There's no way to get out of this. But against people that play like g6 fianchettos, bishop e3, queen d2, and just putting a bishop on h6 is extremely effective. Now, I like to do it with a pawn on f3 so that e4 is always protected and knight g4 is always covered. That way, knight g4 doesn't bother my queen, doesn't bother my bishop. Even on e3, knight g4 would be super annoying. So I always do it with pawn on f3. Much better. So we're going to take, of course, in order to threaten h7. He can take with the rook and not lose the game immediately. So I assume that will be the move. Ooh. He's trying to make a run for it. I'm already up material, so the game's over anyway, but we also have a nice little mate here. And yeah, that's, you know, less than 20 moves here, and just a very, very easy pattern to follow. It will be very effective against fianchettos. d4, so we get a chance to play something else. I've been, as I said, experimenting with all sorts of different openings. We got someone playing the London, so it's like, how the hell can you get like an attacking game against the London? We'll see what we can do. Whoa, okay. He's playing it a little different. Okay, he's playing it very different. I mean, queen on d4 or d5 or just in the center at all when you can play a knight to attack it, it's pretty much always bad. So if I had to predict the most likely way that this one ends, it's probably that. So hopefully he plays a better move. I think this is slightly better than that. Still not great by him, because after knight c3, there's just going to be d4. So yeah, I could also go knight e4 here, followed by this. But yeah, definitely e5 will be the way to go. Knight e4, playable, but I don't think anything's going to be better than bishop here, followed by d4. Let's see if he can get out of this one. Okay, castles. It's a pretty good attempt. My knight's covering though, so unfortunately I'm not sure it's going to work. Yeah, I mean, it's not great for my opponent here. Knight e4 would be about the only way that things could really just descend into an L out of nowhere, but taking looks a little unnecessary. Kind of lets him develop a tempo, so probably prefer to give this check and just continue to get my pieces out. Okay, let's get off the d8 square, back into action. I'm up a whole piece here, so pretty comfortable. Let's go check now. Bishop d3 will lose something to e4. Yeah, I can play this right away. I can also take and then play e4. Any of the above will win material, but I think this one is actually the most uncomfortable. The only thing after this, knight d4, pawn takes, king b3 hits my bishop, and then I've also got this bishop hanging. So I'm not really a fan of that. So I'm gonna keep it simple, and that's actually 2 times that my pawns have advanced in the middle of the board and won material in this game. All right. Well, this might be kind of bothersome castling on that side. I think this is the safe move to play. Bishop e7. Castle, and we always want to trade when we're ahead, so up 2 pieces, I will certainly be playing a move like rook d8. h6, playable but not necessary, is how I would describe that. Let's trade the rooks, make sure we get them off the board. 2 extra pieces here. Just keep it simple. Trade. Bishop g5 definitely wins a pawn, but yeah, let's get our king into the middle. Follow good principles. Take everything that we can. GG. Yeah, he just lost a piece in the opening, so there's not much I can say there, but usually pretty terrible to just bring your queen out for no reason. All right, d4 again. Guess let's play knight f6 and see what's happening here. I'll go for a fianchetto this time. Another London. Play d6. Sometimes it's knight d7. Here I'm actually going to play knight fd7, which I like a little bit to get e5. Yeah, the way he's playing tells me he would probably fall into this. So even though we're not likely to opposite sides castle here, we could get a nice attack going with the E and F pawns. So he's gonna go here. He's kind of just, yeah, he's kind of walking into every single one of my pawn pushes that I want to do. So thank you very much. E4 will already win some material. And here's the sad part is like e4 wins a piece because knight c3 and knight a3 lose a piece, and there's no other way to save the rook. Also, f4 wins this dark square bishop, so I have pieces everywhere that I can win right now. So I'm kind of spoiled for which decision I want to make, but I'll do this. It looks like we'll win most reliable material this way. Okay, queen there. He doesn't want to give that up. I think at this point, knight c5 is going to be a little better than taking on d3. I mean, maybe if I took this, he would just take it back and also blunder that, but I can't rely on those things. And in the meantime, knight takes on d3 will be fantastic if we can get it. He's going to go here. He might take here and allow bishop takes b2, but knight c3 would have been a better move. This hurts big time. Queen b3 to get an important check in the position. I think we can all relate. Well, I think I lost, guys. You know, he got a discovered check, so if I'm remembering correctly, that's the criteria to be completely winning. So, well, I may as well just resign here and hand over the win. I forgot about those side quests. Discovered check equals a loss. Tough to give up a game, but it is what it is. I completely missed that. The way that I'm speaking is probably the way that he's feeling right now. It's like, I got a discovered check, so I am winning. Everyone else can bow down. There are many ways to interpose here, but I guess let's move the king to be the most boring. Okay, gonna do my best not to hang everything here. Let's bring that bishop back to civilization. This pawn is hanging. b6 will also defend everything next. I imagine if queen c4, b6 is pretty nice looking. Okay, let's just develop. The knight's definitely coming to d6, but it's not the end of the world at all. It's just one attack. We got to move our queen somewhere, and then we can go from there. Okay, go here. I'm going to bring my rook to d8 next. If the knight moves, he might want to play like bishop d6, but yeah, it's kind of tough for him. Yeah, so we'll just pin the knight to the queen. Knight c3 drops that knight, although the bishop's pretty far away, so not sure if he sees it. Like knight e5 here. Yeah, it kind of stops knight c4, but it also really threatens the knight by blocking the bishop. Knight b5 is a good and expected move. It guards the knight, but I think white's going to have a hard time in this position. Knight takes. Thank you. I'll grab that from the pin. And that will be GG. Just a lot of material lost here. Even though we castled on the same side, when you play g6 and get this knight out of the way, you have a really easy way to play f5, e5. So queen e8 is mainly just to be threatening e4. So probably not the best move, but it's a little bit cheesy to win a piece there potentially. White should respond absolutely with knight c3. But yeah, I always like these. Even though we're on the same side, you can get a nice quick burst of moves with f5, e5, e4, which is what we got. Like h6, f5, e5, e4. And just from all these pawn moves, all of a sudden we were winning. Your attacking chess will improve if you follow this series and learn the basics first. I promise you. Subscribe to chessbrah on YouTube if you're not subscribed already, and click that bell to turn on post notifications so you never miss another upload.